Gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not entirely sure this toy is appropriate for a random review. It's a little much to handle on the spot. However, I was in the mood to talk about it, and I just have these new filming lights set up, and I really wanted to see how they worked, and I needed something that would be a good little test of that, and something with bright colors, metallic paint, chrome, things that, would tell me how the lights actually look. So, DX Daibouken seemed like a pretty good example. So we're going to start in this, which is a trailer mode of sorts, kind of resembling a semi-truck, but not quite. It's not entirely the purpose. But, as you can see, they all kind of combine together into this truck formation so they can all journey to the adventure site and then unload one by one. I give any set of Sentai mechs credit when they can actually combine in some way other than a giant robot, and I really do like it when they can combine into one big vehicle. Granted, it's not the cleanest looking thing, but I think that makes a semi-decent, super heavy truck shape, at least if you view that as the cockpit and everything. And yeah, Go-Go Dump is pretty much just storing marine and shovel, so, it's not the most complex of combinations, but it's all nice and secure and it all intentionally fits together. And it makes it real easy to start this review in this way, so we don't have to go through combining it. So we're going to start by unclipping it from there, and to get to the individual vehicles, I'm going to take them apart one at a time. This all comes up and off goes the blue. Flip down and push in. There's our black. And these are pretty much easy. They just kind of yank out, which, oh, a little bit stubborn there. There we go. And flip into position. Alright, so we do have this nice little diverse team of adventure vehicles for all purposes, though I will admit some of them a little bit iffy. We'll start with number 5. The Go-Go Marine, which has a nice submarine look to it. It's got these nice little claws out front for capturing whatever sunken treasure it finds, and this nice little cockpit up top. I'm not even sure what you call a cockpit of a submarine. A bridge, I guess. With your typical submarine stylings and little points pointing up and everything. Black down the side, the Go-Go Sentai logo, as well as big turbines on the back, or at least the semblance of turbines, so it can at least travel pretty well underwater. There are wheels on the underside, so it can roll along the ground, and as you saw, the claws can be rotated around, so not a whole lot of playability. The Pink Ranger, I will admit, usually gets whatever vehicle works, and yeah, this one does work though. Yeah, I do like that they included something an underwater discovery vehicle, because that does make sense. As does Go-Go Shovel, number 4 in the list. Yep, the Yellow Rangers is pretty much for all those rocky terrains and all the heavy digging to get into whatever buried treasure is around. Now for added detail, there is a ton of this mechanical detailing around the sides of the treads, the arms, and some exhaust stacks up top. If you want a little bit of weaponry, you do have these turrets that rotate all the way around, so she's not defenseless, but also the shovel works completely, holding up and down as needed. That's kind of cool. I like that it can do that. It would have been fine to just leave it that way, but add a bit of functionality. Always works for me. Then we have Formula, the Black Rangers. This is where I start getting questionable about about adventure vehicles. Oh, I'm sure tooling around in what looks like, the ultimate Formula 1 car is definitely an adventure, but I don't know how it's going to help hunt treasure, and it's really just made for going really fast, unless you really need to get away from a cave-in or something. But I do really like the design. I like the gold chrome for the exhausts and what seem to be boosters in the back. You also have the exhaust pipes there, as well as some nice silver detail creating a little bit more of that IndyCar look, which you really get from the black here and the spoilers. I really like that vehicle. It does not make much sense in this set, but hey, it's variety. And I do like the variety in this team. One of the smaller ones, we have the Go-Go Gyro, Blue Rangers. You see the number 3 logo. It's on the side, though it's a little bit hidden underneath what appear to be little booster rockets of sorts. I do like the idea of going with this kind of VTOL takeoff plane, rather than just your typical little jet or anything. Gives it a little bit more personality, a little bit more uniqueness, as this isn't as typical as you would normally see in a Sentai team. Chrome on the fans, little thrusters in the back, here, and of course, what look like rockets off to the side. Now that I think of it, for weaponry, he does have little bitty guns molded into the front, as well as a little bit of extra yellow paint for headlights, because hey, he's supposed to be looking for stuff. So that works well for your aerial reconnaissance, as well as your, bird's eye view, discovering the land and all that. And then we have the heavy hitter, Go-Go Dump, your first vehicle, as you can see by the number 1 logo on the side. This is, of course, where most of the bulk of the entire toy comes into play. Nice big chrome grille in the front, black for the cockpit section of the vehicle, as well as chrome for the rims of the tires. A lot of metallic silver going across the top, too. They wanted to make sure this looked like a heavy work vehicle, so a lot of pistons and hydraulics are included in the molding. That's really cool. You know what else is really cool? Well, aside from the fact that this thing rolls really well with these huge tires, it is hinged so it can correctly dump. That's a very small touch, but I'm glad it's included. Now, granted, that is something that just works because of the nature of the transformation, but hey, I'm not going to argue it, because they didn't have to work something like that in, and they did. So, bravo to them. Now, on the sides, you can see he actually does have storage for something that we're not going to need just yet. We got to get these guys together before we actually need them. But the storage on the side does work, and I'll let you see the silver when those things are removed. Still looking quite nice. It's a nice rounded team. Outside, well, it's kind of low in this shot now. Aside from formula, it's a very good, diverse team of adventure and treasure hunting vehicles. You are still weird, but hey, I guess they're just going for a variety of vehicles in this toy line, so I can't fault them too much, because it is a nice change up from everything else. So, it is a Sentai mech, so the whole point is to combine everything together, right? So let's go ahead and do that. The arm transformation is pretty simple. There you go. One already done. This one's a little bit more complicated, just a little bit more. Everything kind of has to fold out on this one, and that has to fold into the correct position, which I can never remember exactly how it goes. We'll go with that for now, and it's probably wrong, but hey, we're going to try. Hey, it's my toy, I'll do what I want with it. This one, pretty simple. We gotta push everything back to where it came before. Flip that up. That's all ready to go. And then, for this, we need to extract what will be the helmet of the toy. And that can just kind of be that way for a while. Most of it comes from this big guy. This is, admittedly, almost all of the bulk of the toy, as the entire bed flips out to create the legs. All that kind of folds up, though you can leave it down if you want some extra balance and heel spurs. That doesn't really work out well for him, but hey, do what you want. Nice and solid connection points, I like that. All of this has to detach, and then we can swing it to the back. Allows that to come down and reveal the robot's head. Well, at least what's the head so far. One arm on. Two arms on. A second. Let me get his wing pack on here. Come on. Find the connection point. Come on. There we go. Took me a bit. I got it. And then this, pretty standard. Though you actually do need to flip out these little tabs. This is easy to forget on this guy. Little tiny tabs that flip out from there and help secure him on the sides. Otherwise, his combination gets a little bit shaky. Right here, it's holds up much better. I finish it off by popping the helmet on, and just like that, we have our DX Daibouken. And on quick review, that's correct. This is incorrect. Boom! Now it is perfect. So yeah, I really like the design of this guy. It's very heavy duty. It looks like a seriously tough machine for heavy adventuring. This is one of the reasons I like the toy so much, because it's not trying to be too fancy. It's not trying to be too sleek and break into too many parts and all come cobbling back together. It's buff, it's solid, and it actually looks like it can do the job it's designed to do. So, I'll give you a quick look here. That is how the head came out. I'm interested because this almost gets a visor appearance, but you can see the yellow eyes underneath. It's a little bit shaded because my lights are not quite in the right position. So we still have to work on positioning on these things a little bit. Ooh, that was really hot. Learning on the fly. These things will burn if they are on for like 15 minutes straight, and then you touch them directly with your bare hand. That's a good thing to learn on the spot. So the main detail we've revealed is all this underside, which I think does a nice job of bringing the blue and the red into the torso, which otherwise has a ton of black to it. And I do like that big chrome engine in the front. Again, it's meant to look like a heavy-duty work machine, and this really goes a long way toward reminding you it's meant for serious business. Everything else is pretty much the same. I like the legs. They have a very nice, solid look to them. One advantage of being made from Go-Go Dump's rear, you know, because if we look from the back side, they're kind of hollow, but that's by intention. But yeah, very nice all around. Like, I really dig the look of this guy. Now, it does have some advantage over some typical figures. For instance, the head actually does have rotation. So it's not just limited to the up and down arms that we are used to accepting on a Sentai mech. But aside from that, the hips actually have range. A little bit of outward movement, forward and back movement, knee movement, rotation at the thigh. This guy has some actual levels of posability. Now granted, I'd have loved to have some elbows to go with it, but hey, it's a Sentai mech that has fully articulated legs. That's not something you often get to see, so I will take what I can get and call it a victory. That is a victory to me. Well, it's a victory to Daibouken is what it is. So let's talk the actual accessories that we yanked off earlier. For starters, this thing can unfold into a pickaxe, which fits the adventure theme quite well, and we will give him that. Just pretend he's about to go do some Minecrafting. And meanwhile, yeah, this obviously is just one solid piece, which is, of course, a shovel. So he does have a pickaxe and a shovel. He is ready to go digging. Whether he is building up his very first house in Minecraft or just going off to build a sandcastle, he is properly equipped. And I do like that his accessories do have this function, because these are adventure tools. These are tools for actually going on some kind of treasure hunt. That's really cool. What is not cool is when you combine these together. And don't get me wrong, I love that they do combine together, because it does create a really cool use for these added accessories. We pop that on, fold these up, that all connects together, and there we have his fully realized sword. Now this doesn't look too bad. It's definitely strange with the big gaps in here, but it kind of has a He-Man sword look to it. which is kind of a neat thing to me. Kind of hits me in my nostalgia just a bit. However, that don't look good, because that's as far into the hand as the handle goes, and this is kind of the flaw to Daibouken's little play pattern. See, when it's done up as the pickaxe, that makes sense. That actually looks correct for how you hold a pickaxe. When it's done as a sword, not so much. It's because of these little stopper pegs that are on the absolute bottom of the handle. Only lets it go in so far, and there's no way of passing it through the hand. So you're left with him holding the sword mode very awkwardly. And that's about the only major flaw I can find on this toy. Otherwise, he's got a lot of solid things going for him. The combination is nice, the vehicle variety is good, and he looks and feels nice and solid. Not to mention, he does come with a good level of articulation for a Sentai mech, you know. Elbows would be nice, but at that point, I'm, wishing for the moon out of a Sentai mech. I'll take the legs and be happy. I will also give credit, these also can still combine onto the sides of his legs for storage, if you really don't want to have them out or anything. They kind of have to be naggled with a little bit in order to make that happen. Or I could just be remembering it wrong. Let's see. Well, that kind of works. That one's a little too tall. But, hey. No, that almost worked. Never mind. But hey. He's still a very nice featured and nicely made Sentai mech. It still stands as my absolute favorite. And of course, I really like the toys they made to go with him too. And assuming this video didn't turn out too bad, we might see a few more of them this week. Who knows? Well, I know, but you don't, and that's the point.